On today's episode of WatchJRGo, we are on a WatchJRGo side quest, everyone's favorite segment on the channel. What is going on, guys? I am WatchJRGo, and today, like I said, we're here to do a little mower repair action. So one of my neighbor's yards was massively overgrown, and I found out from them that their mower was broken, and they were heading out to buy a new one. And I was like, you probably don't need a new mower, but their yard was getting insanely tall, so first thing this morning, I jumped on the walker, went over there, mowed the yard. And honestly, it probably needs mowed like 4 more times just to get the clumping out of it. That's after double cutting it. It was tall. And obviously I should have recorded that and made a 1,000,000 view video like all the other mowing channels on YouTube that make millions of dollars a year mowing 1 yard a week. That's really something I should be doing 100% of the time. What am I doing? But today we are fixing their lawnmower and taking it back to them. So once I was done with the walker, I threw their push mower here in the bed and headed back over here so we could see what's going on with this 28-inch Bolins by MTD normal old side discharge mower. This is about as basic as a push mower comes. You hardly see them like this anymore because most decks now are bigger, they're mostly all self-propelled. This is OG classic push mower where the only controls are the emergency stop handle on the handlebar and of course a pull rope to start up this, well, I assume it's a 3.5 horse Briggs & Stratton, but it says it's a 450 series, which might be 4.5 horsepower, I'm not sure. But you know what? I love OG classic push mower, and I hope you guys do too, because this is what I cut my teeth on. You know, this is where you learn all your wrenching skills on these single cylinders, Maytag engines with the Kickstarter and lawnmowers and weed eaters and stuff like that. Really simple engines where you can put all your concepts together, learn all that good stuff, and go on from there. So we have to figure out what's going on with this thing, and really they're simple, so it shouldn't be too complicated unless it hits something serious and the crank's bent or something like that. So first things first, let's try to start it. This does have the primer bulb, which is well into the 90s, right? Ooh, it is spraying fuel in. I wonder if it's just full of water. There's a good chance that it wasn't winterized. And the primer bulb works, which is a pro. A lot of times they're shot. Let's see. Okay, well, they told me it didn't run at all, and clearly it runs pretty well. Now, it was struggling. I'm sure you guys could hear that it was struggling to run pretty hard. What we're gonna do is assume that the fuel that's in this thing is old and trash. I wanna check the air filter, and we're gonna dump out all the fuel and replace it, and then maybe put a little bit of fuel treatment in there too, but there's really nothing to fix on this thing. I guess they probably don't need to go buy a new mower. We can run this straight back over, but let's take a look and make sure everything's tuned up for them. It does look like somebody just changed the spark plug. That's nice and clean. So let's take a quick look at the air filter here, and then we'll take a look at the gas too and see what we're dealing with. But we'll take this back to them and make sure it'll be ready to run for the next few years. Maybe even change the oil in it too. Come on. Hey, the filter doesn't even look bad. Usually those things are rough. All right, she's a little dirty down in there, but nothing too big. And interesting, I don't see any problems with this. I was gonna go dump the fuel out, but let's just change the oil. We'll take a little carb clean here, spray that guy out, and just wipe out the kind of ridiculous amount of trash I saw in the carb. I'd planned on having to fix the carb. I've been on another small engine rebuilding kick. I had to do another one of these push mowers for a friend the other day. They said it hadn't worked in years, and pulled the float bowl off and boom, instantly fixed. All right, that's looking nice. I think that'll clean up if we put a little bit of fuel system cleaner in there. Yep, primer works great. Nice big squirts out of there. So we're gonna say that's fine. She seems fine to me. Let's change the oil and sharpen the blades. You know what's nice about these non-self-propelled mowers? You can just pick them up. You can't pick up mowers anymore. They are killer. Like even a Honda, I mean, you can do it, but usually you rock it back by the handlebars, put the front end on something, and then pick it up. So you're not supporting all of its weight at once. But this thing, you just pick it right up and it doesn't even hurt your back. Crazy what it weighs. So the blades look horrible. Ooh, look at that non-edge on there. That is 100% dull. So I'm gonna pop that off. It is a mulching blade, so we'll just spin it off real quick, clean it up with the grinder, and then put it back on. It was bad gas all along. I kind of assumed it had sat for a long time because I think they had somebody mowing their yard, and then they had to go back to mowing it themselves because that person just ghosted them. As soon as this started dumping out when I pulled the blade off, it smells horrible. So the gas is trash, and we might go ahead and just dump it out. That's the easiest thing to do. The blade's off, so before we dump out the gas, this is rough. We'll clean this thing up, put an edge back on it, and it should be ready to make it through another season at minimum. It looks like somebody sharpened it though. Well guys, I don't do my blade edges to cut paper, but it's pretty sharp. I'd say that's a heck of a profile there. I think it'll cut grass just fine, at least for a season. So anyway, we're gonna put the blade back on, dump the gas out, dump the oil out, and fill this thing back up, and it should be ready to rock. Maybe for more than one season, maybe 10. Oh, look at the oil come out of this. Maybe that has water in it, maybe it's glitter. Either way, it is nasty. Especially what came out at first. It was absolutely nasty. So with that said, I've got the blade bolted back on. This is a no drain plug engine, so the only way you can drain the oil, a lot of times you'll end up with like a little plug under there where you can just put a pan under the mower and pull it out with an extension. That doesn't work on this. You have to tip it over sideways. And we've got the oil out of it. So I'm gonna fill it back up now. Then we'll flip it the other way, drain all the gas out of it, put some fresh gas in it. It started just a second ago and ran perfectly, like super fast. The RPM was correct, and then it dipped back down. So it's clearly running like a mixture of gas and water right now. And we need to get it to run on just gas, because that's where the money's at. Didn't even have to rebuild the carb. These old carbs, the Briggs & Stratton carb design, is probably one of the best in the world. I mean, Honda has refined it to where they guarantee the mower will start forever, which is incredible. I think they just drilled bigger holes or something like that so dirt goes through. But new carburetors like this are just so good at what they do. It's mind-blowing compared to the stuff we had to fix 20 years ago. Briggs & Stratton recommends a huge range of oils, but we're putting in the most insane oil that's ever gone on a push mower. I mean, people put crazy stuff in their push mowers, so. Rotella T6, highly unnecessary. They do recommend full synthetic though. They say 530, they say 1050 I think, and 2050. They're all on Briggs & Stratton's recommended oils list. So I figure, why not just put this in? We have it on hand. With how little oil came out, it must have been low too. But hey, it's probably a little bit old. She's been used. I went outside and dumped the gas out. Take a look at that. All of that goo is like water and trash mixed with gasoline. You can see it moving around inside the tank there. There's basically nothing left, but I guess I'm gonna have to put a rag in there and soak up what's left of that to get it all out. Then we're gonna refill it with a little bit of Techron, thanks to the subscriber that sent the Techron, so we can make sure this thing runs great for years to come. I accidentally went full BP on this mower when I filled it with gas again, so we put our Techron in, gave it a pretty good shot of that. You know, you don't need more than like 1/8 of a bottle because this treats 30 gallons. So I put a bunch in there. It's a heavy pour, and then filled it with gasoline, way too much. Let's take this thing outside and see if we've built the mower of the century. Well guys, I think this thing's gonna be a monster, but it is time for all of us to find out. And we might turn it into a fireball too, with all this gas on it. Well, I think the maintenance on this mower is wrapped up as fast as possible. It really didn't take more than about 15 minutes. And now it cuts really well. That's clean. I need to do the blades on my walker now. It's been too many months. But the stripes actually, or the cut actually looks really good, and I was mowing full sprint and it wasn't struggling. So I think we got her sorted, obviously ready to go with fresh oil and all that. Especially, you guys know about the lifetime oil change mowers that are out now, where they don't want you to ever change the oil. And I do understand, right? Most people will never put enough hours on the factory fill to have any issues. But at the same time, it probably lasts forever if you just change the oil. So they want them to last 10 years. That's the goal. It looks like this has made it 10 years. It's probably ready for the next 10 years. I'm gonna go deliver it back to them, and we're gonna get to work on more projects that need done around here. You guys know how it is. I only have to go down a couple houses, and I didn't want to get the truck out. You guys know when you're having one of those days where everything is literally external factors that are keeping you from doing the one thing that you want to do? Because today was supposed to be fuel tank on the Camaro, and it probably still will be as long as we can get a few more hours of work in. But it started out with that yard thing. Then I came in here and there was a bird trapped in the shop. So that took 30 minutes, opening all the doors and everything and shooing it out of here. So we got the bird out of here, and then I had to go ship out some packages, and the TPMS light on the Volt came on. So now we really need to fix that because it's super annoying. I don't mind the light at all, but it takes over the whole gauge cluster and doesn't auto dismiss in the Volt. So every time you get in here, it's just, oh, TPMS. And I'm like, so what? There's not a flat tire, but I guess let's pull a wheel off, get over to German Motor Works, and swap TPMS sensors. I'll show you what I mean when it starts up here. Love the sound. The sounds in this car are awesome. That message auto clears because it's comma taking over. So any second now, service tire monitor system. Sorry about the beeping, but let's take a quick look. All right, it says driver rear is the flat tire, or the one that's not showing up. Sensors get old, I'm not mad, but I don't want that warning on the dash right now. You have to hit that button. Ooh, it's taking forever. That's interesting. Okay. Ooh, battery low. That's not ideal. I mean, all these sensors are old. Let's try again. Taking forever. Huh. This could be the bad one. You really never know if they're recalibrated to the right corners. I kind of think this is the actual dead sensor. That's why you don't trust the display on the dash there. Make sure you're checking this stuff yourself. So we'll just go ahead and keep going around the car and making sure that we're diagnosing this correctly. All right, good deal. No dead battery. And the final one, I think it's, yep. Wow. Oh, they all need done, but I don't want to put that many sensors on. I just want to do that, what's actually the passenger front, so we can get the warning off the dash. I mean, come on, it's the difference between hours of work. Pulling all three wheels, I mean, we could put it on the lift and do it all pretty quickly, but then we still have to go break the beads on all of these. But if I just run this one over there, who knows? We might get 6 months or a year out of the ones with low batteries still. Wheel. Yep. All right, guys, we are here at German Motor Works with the man himself. Oh, you didn't have to stop working. What are you doing on this Audi?
Water pump.
Water pump? Better you than me. I don't want to do the water
Yeah,
pump.
trust me, you don't want to.
Is it timing chain driven?
Nope.
Oh, okay. Thank
It's a
God.
regular pump, but
Oh,
it's a nightmare to get to.
woo! It is a regular pump. Where's she?
Right there,
Okay.
on top. Yep.
Wow.
Almost done though.
Is this water-cooled alternator? It is, isn't it?
Yes, it's actually a generator.
Oh, okay. Okay, because it's got like a
High voltage.
system
Yes.
or
Yeah.
Gotcha. Everybody loves their old water-cooled alternator.
I don't.
I love it. Man. Oh. All right, man. Well, I came to steal your tire machine for a minute because
Go for it, yeah.
I think a TPMS sensor I just put in. Now that I put the wheel on there. I think I just put it in a year ago and it's dead.
Already? What brand was it?
I don't know. We'll find out in a second. Let me break the bead.
All right.
All right, guys, it is not a new sensor. It's been on there for a long time. So let's cut this out of here and put in a new one. Look at that thing, guys. It looks beautiful. It's like new and parallel. Anyway, any second now, we should be done with our little detour here. All right, we only have 20 PSI in. Come on. I believe in you. Hey, there it is. Couple more PSI. This was the most chill cars and cockpits we've had yet. It was kind of nice. Kind of nice.
No drama?
No. Nobody did burnouts. Nobody ruined the show. You know, it was pretty solid. Anyway, I think I got my tire situation sorted. So thank you, sir.
Always.
I'll let you get back to work.
Well, good thing you know what to do, so I don't have to stop what I'm doing.
Yeah, I know, right?
Awesome.
I kind of remember how to use the tire machine now.
Nice.
Later.
See ya.
And we are back with our new wheel and tire setup here. I mean, it's the same, but with a new TPMS sensor, obviously. And, you know, I wonder if there's a GM center cap to valve stem alignment. You know, like everybody else has a proper alignment, like Mercedes, you know, everybody with a crest, the crest points down, the Porsche crest points down towards the valve stem. So I didn't know on this one. And obviously, it needs to be right. This is a Concours Chevy Volt. So I pointed the edge of the Chevy logo at the valve stem. Who knows? Maybe it's a thing. I'm gonna guarantee it's not, but maybe it's a thing. Anyway, now we've got the lug nuts back on, and I am in an absolute state of emergency over here. Go get the torque wrench and then take this out for a quick test drive. But I had some people on the way to look at the Volvo and they want to be here in 10 minutes. And my Goldwing has a bunch of recalls and they need it at the dealership in the next like 45 minutes. So we are just absolute blitz mode right now. Let's get this torque down and go find out if that air is off the dash. Took the car for a quick drive and realized I forgot to relearn the sensors, came back, relearned the sensors. Now everything's good to go. So don't forget to relearn your sensors after you change one out. Message is off the dash, mission success on the Volt. Now let's get everything out of the shop, get my skateboard strapped onto the Goldwing and get it over so we can get the recalls done in time. And yes, I do realize all those tire pressures were like differed by ±1, and even one of them was 2. So sorry for the OCD among you. That's my bad. I'll fix all the tire pressures one of these days. Mower knocked out, Volt serviced, Goldwing dropped off for its recalls, which is funny. We might make some videos about that. I don't think any of the recalls on the Goldwing are a big deal, but they built up and it was time to get them done. And it was getting close to oil change time, and one of the recalls includes an oil change. So very nice. And now we got to try to sell the Volvo right now. It should be gone in a couple of minutes. So I'll get back to you guys here in just a second on if it's gone. Volvo sold, which brings an end to the chaotic part of my day and starts on what's going to be the next video you guys are about to see. Fuel tank on the Camaro. So that is it for today, guys. Thank you so much for watching. Don't forget to head on over to shop WatchJRGo.com for cool shirts, not like this. And please like, share, subscribe, do whatever you want to do, and I will talk to you next time. The next Volvo is gonna have an R after it. I don't know when that's coming, but you know, one of these days we need another Volvo with an R. I've had most of them, but V70R?